All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining and welcome to this RMS Support Center release brown bag training. If I could just get a quick another indication that you guys can see my screen and hear me just to make sure. Great. All right. So let's get started. Today, we're going to be reviewing the updates made in the upcoming patch release. That patch number is targeted to be 555, but that does have the potential to change, so keep that in mind. This patch is targeted to be released on July 15th, which is going to be tomorrow afternoon. If you experience any issues downloading the new patch, please don't hesitate to reach out to the help desk. There's a link to our ticketing system in Jira and a phone number that you can call listed on the references slide in this presentation. The slides we're presenting today will be made available on our website tomorrow. That website is rms.usace.army.mil. These slides were also included in the invitation sent out. I think it was updated today with those. So if you need access to them, they should be attached on the invitation as well. That RMS website link, along with other resources, can be found on the references slide in this presentation. These slides will also be updated to include any Q&A that occurs during this webinar. So those will be posted again once that's updated. And this presentation is also being recorded. So this video will be posted on our YouTube channel. That should be posted within about 5 business days following the presentation today. So keep an eye out for that. That video is going to be made available both on the YouTube channel and listed on the RMS website. If you have any questions regarding anything we cover today, please type that question into the Q&A section of this WebEx. We do have some RMS Support Center folks on standby, ready to take care of those as they come in. We'll also open up the floor for discussion at the end of the presentation, so if you'd like to wait until the end and unmute to ask your question, you will have the opportunity to do that as well. So let's get started. Here's our agenda for today's training. First, we'll look at updates made in the contract selection view and summary reports. Then we'll look at administration, finances, and QA/QC. We've got several updates to cover for submittals and transmittals, and we'll also review a couple activity and milestone schedule updates. And then finally, there's a pretty significant update for the network analysis schedule module under the import/export tab. And as usual, at the end of this presentation, as I already mentioned, we will open up the floor for discussion to occur regarding any of the updates we cover here today. Okay, so first up, we have an update to the contract selection view. In the contract stage column filter, the archived option was added to that menu. This is related to the folder structure updates that we've mentioned a few times before. Since we had to unarchive contracts that were already archived as part of those updates, this option was added to this menu here to make it clear which contracts those are. So any contracts within the archived contract stage are not in use and are not currently active. Next is for the contract status summary report. Users should no longer have any issues opening up this report, whether it be for a single or multiple contracts. So if you use this for reporting purposes, you should now be able to get in there and access this report without any issue. Moving on, we had an update in the contract setup module under the administration tab. So since the DD 1354 lookups have been changing every fiscal year, that enable FY22 lookups for DD 1354 checkbox is going to be removed from the administration/funding tab in the contract setup module. And along with this update as well, the newest real property codes were uploaded into RMS per guidance from headquarters. So those are now up to date with the most current codes. Next up, we have a finances update for progress payments. When users sign an ENG93 or when they upload a signed ENG93, this prompt is no longer going to display when attempting to submit the payment to CFUMS. If a signed ENG93 exists in the document package, and even when that primary selection is updated for that document, RMS is going to recognize that, and this prompt is only going to display if there's an unsigned ENG93 within that document package. Still under finances, we also have an update to the contract changes module. An unpriced change order can now be added as a change request in RMS. And along with this update, some of the options in that add screen for adding a new change request have been updated, as well as the modification types menu that can be accessed from within the Inception tab. Another update was also made for contract changes. This one is going to be in the status/funding tab of change requests. Some informational boxes were added to the items within the change request status section. Some blue boxes with a question mark is now going to be accompanying each item in this list. If you hover over that box, an informational pop-up will appear as shown here to provide guidance on when those elements may be required to be included on the change request. Please do remember to consult district policy for this information as well. For further details regarding these updates, check out the video that we have posted on our YouTube for this update. We also have that video linked in the slides that I'm presenting, which will be made available on the website tomorrow. That video should give you all the information you'll need for those updates. Moving on to QA/QC. This one is for QC daily reports. The government will be able to go into the document package itself on a QC daily report and sign after the contractor has signed already. And they'll also be able to enter the government review notes in that field within the document package at the bottom. Please keep in mind that this is only the case when the document package has not yet been accepted. If the document package has already been accepted, then these actions will not be available and the document package view will be read-only. Okay, next up, starting in the Submittal Register module, as I mentioned previously, we have several updates that relate to submittals and transmittals within this release. This first one here is for viewing transmittals from the Submittal Register module. When a submittal item is selected in this view, the transmittal history section at the bottom of the view lists the transmittals or transmittal or transmittals that submittal item was submitted under. Now, those transmittals can be opened and accessed directly from this table by double-clicking on that, which is going to bring up that transmittals view. This update is available in both government and contractor mode, and the viewing constraints are going to be the same as they are within the transmittal log. So that means if a transmittal is in draft mode, then the contractor will only be able to access that, not the government. And also the view may be read-only depending on which stage that the transmittal is in. If the transmittal is in review, then the government will be able to open and edit the transmittal. But if the transmittal is completed or pending government or contractor acknowledgement, then the transmittal will only open as read-only, as shown here on the slide. Now we'll jump into the Transmittal Log module updates. First up here is an update for the submittal items that display in the preview shown in the bottom of the selection view here. When a transmittal is selected in this view, the list of submittal items shown in this bottom section will be correct and current. So here in this image on the slide, it shows that this transmittal includes submittal items 2 and 3. And then at the bottom, it reflects that properly as well. Okay, so another update to the transmittal log selection view. Validation has been added to the date received column in the pending government receipt sort tile so that a date prior to the contractor sent date or a future date will not be allowed for entry in this column. If a user attempts to enter one of those dates, then the errors shown here will be presented and RMS is not going to allow that entry. Moving on, this one is in relation to the contractor sent date as well. An update was made so that the government can receive, review, and complete a transmittal within the same day as the contractor sent date. So that means that the receive date can be set to the same date as the contractor sent date without any issue. However, please do keep in mind that a full review is always required whenever completing transmittals in RMS. Next up, real quick, this minor update. The item number extension for a submittal that's been entered will be displayed on the RMS generated ENG 4025 report for a transmittal. Now we'll look at the actual transmittal view and what's been updated here. First up is the internal notes tab. This tab has been added to the government's view of transmittals, and it can only be viewed by government users. As its name alludes to, this tab is internal to government personnel. Contractors will not be able to view this field or any information that has been entered into this field. Next, also updated in the government's view of a transmittal is the availability of the number of copies, classification, and variation fields. When a transmittal is in review, those fields now will be read-only in the government's view of a transmittal. Next, this one's for the paragraph and drawing fields. When these fields are filled in on a submittal item, those values entered will be displayed correctly in the corresponding areas on the transmittal edit view, as well as on the ENG 4025 report for the transmittal. Now we have a few document package updates that are also related to transmittals, starting with the government document package at the bottom of the transmittal edit view. The description here was updated on the document package to make it clear that the government document package can only be accessed by government users. And that same update was also made to the government document package within the attachments area for a submittal item. The government packages are accessible only by the government. Additionally, within that same area for submittal item attachments, the document package there at the top is now a shared document package instead of a contractor document package, and the description was updated there to reflect that as well. Now we'll look at an update to the completion process for transmittals. So after the contractor submits a transmittal with a manually uploaded ENG 4025, the digital signing capabilities will be disabled for the ENG 4025 report. That means that the apply QA codes and complete 4025 button will be disabled for the government, and this message shown here on the slide is going to appear when hovering over the inactive button. And conversely, after the contractor submits a digitally created and signed ENG 4025 in a transmittal, the manual signing capabilities will be disabled after that. That includes the manually attached signed 4025 button in the transmittal edit view, as well as the manually signed by and primary checkboxes within the document package view for that transmittal. Those will also not be available. Please keep in mind that supporting documents not generated by RMS can always be added to a document package as needed before the transmittal is completed. However, only electronic signatures will be allowed on the original ENG 4025s that are digitally created and signed, then submitted by the contractor. So this is the last of the transmittal updates we have to review for this presentation. We do have more updates to review after this, but we do have a new video for the entire updated transmittal process linked in this presentation as well. Since there have been so many updates since the last transmittal process video was published, a new one was created to accompany this release, since there are numerous updates in that area for this release. Okay, moving on from submittals and transmittals, we have an update in the activity schedule module that does still actually impact the submittal item review dates. When a contract is set up to use the activity schedule to calculate review dates for submittal items, the start dates for those review periods will be updated along with any updates that are made to the activity schedule, either by manually inputting that update or through a schedule import. So on this slide, it may be a little confusing the way we've shown it here, but we're showing that activity E40 has had the scheduled start date updated from September 26th to September 5th. And the submittal item associated with that activity E40 had that start date for the review period updated as well. Next, for the milestone schedule, there was an update to the view of the contract required completion milestone. Since this is a calculated date, the scheduled and actual date fields were replaced by the original and current date fields. Okay, and finally, our last update for this release, which is a pretty significant one, is going to be in the network analysis schedule module. Native XCR files from Primavera P6 can now be uploaded into RMS. When the files are uploaded, a request to import will still need to be accepted by the government, and the data should still be previewed prior to import using that preview data import into contract button. Additionally, though, another button has been added to the import file view, the Analyze Schedule button. This button is going to bring up a new view where the schedule can be analyzed using 3 different tabs. There we go. The first tab, the Import Schedule tab, is going to show the new schedule information that's available and associated with the file that was uploaded into RMS. All the activity IDs, the source, the cleanse, etc. is going to be shown in this view, along with a Gantt chart view of all that information as well. The Gantt chart view can be expanded or minimized by sliding this border one way or another. A sort by selection is also available at the top, where you can sort by each of the columns. To get rid of that view that you choose to sort, just click on the Ungroup button to reset it back to the default view. The blue tiles at the top are only going to be counts of each of these items and can't be used for sorting. Please keep that in mind. So we have the activities right here, the sum of all the activities cost, and the sum of the CLIN amounts, and the constraints included in the schedule. Next is the Comparison Schedule tab. This is where the current schedule data can be compared to the data in the schedule import. This is where the source column can play a big role. That column right here, that column is going to show where the data for each row comes from, either the contract or the import file. You can use that sort by menu to sort by the source as well. That may be extra helpful for this view. The icons in the Gantt chart are also going to reflect the differences between the contract and import data. The import data is going to display in red, and the contract data is going to be displayed in black. And finally, the third critical path tab is going to show the activities in the schedule that are on the critical path in the schedule, meaning any activity with no float or a negative float. Those will be displayed here. And again, the blue tiles at the top are just counts that are going to show the number of activities included in this view, what percentage of the schedule is considered critical, and the lowest total float in the schedule. Of course, also the Gantt chart view is available there to give a graphical depiction of these activities included in this tab's view. Please keep in mind as well that this schedule analysis in RMS should not be a replacement for the schedule analysis performed in Primavera P6. I also want to note that the Analyze Schedule button is now available on all the import file views. So that includes for SDEF files as well as XML files. However, a Gantt chart view will only be available with the XER files as shown here. A video for this update is in progress and it is going to be released soon after our presentation today as well. That concludes our presentation portion of the training today. Here we have some references linked as it relates to this training. We've got those 2 new demonstration videos I mentioned for the updated transmittal process and the contract changes module updates. And also our previous brown bag release training is linked there as well. At the bottom, we have the usual links for the RMS website and YouTube channel. The help desk JIRA portal link along with the help desk phone number is listed there. And finally, the KM portal link is available there as well. So now we'll open up the floor for any discussion or questions to occur regarding Dispatch's updates.
Good afternoon. For the 1354 category codes, will they be updated on a regular basis?
More than likely, yes.
Okay.
We try to update those quarterly.
Okay. And there was some mention about a transmittal number extension. I was confused by that. I'm assuming I can get it out of the video, but
Yeah, so basically on a 4025, in the past, for whatever reason, the extensions weren't showing up. So if your submittal item number was 1.5 or 1.1, you would only see the 1. You wouldn't see the point. So you wouldn't see anything after the decimal. That has been fixed.
oh, okay. But the extension for and that's for resubmittals, right?
That's for any transmittal.
Okay.
But the decimals do typically tend to be on resubmittals, but not always limited to that. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. I was thinking that the decimals was only really necessary for the resubmittal. So you know that is, I didn't realize it was, well, I guess you're adding it to the transmittal number, to the submittal item number as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Did I hear correctly that the government can only acknowledge the receipt of the contractor's submittal only on the same day that they submitted it? I understand. Makes sense that it can't be before they submit it, but
so no, it's basically what it is the acknowledgement is any day after they have submitted it or the same
Okay.
day, but
Okay.
not a future date. That's all.
Well,
Yeah, we found that RMS, there were certain occasions when the contractor would submit and it would be based on time zone. And if you were in a time zone that was before the contractor's time zone, RMS got a little confused. That's where the same day acceptance comes in.
so, but I guess what happens, contractors, they'll do a file dump on Friday, and the government's may not see them all after. They'll do 5 o'clock on a Friday, and government's left. So can I put Monday as the date that I received it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. That
Yeah.
was my concern.
Yeah.
All right.
You just couldn't do it on Thursday.
Makes sense.
I have that same question, but I'm still a little bit confused, I think, about the way it was stated.
So basically, if you're going to acknowledge receipt of a transmittal, when you go in, let's say you're going to acknowledge something today. Today is the 14th. The limitation is if the contractor sent it on, let's just say the 13th, they sent it on the 13th, you go into today and you want to accept it. You cannot accept it for anything prior to the 13th. So for the 12th, you can't accept it for that day. You also cannot accept it for tomorrow because tomorrow hasn't happened yet. So you can accept it between when the contractor sends it and today's date. Does that make it more clear?
Okay. Yeah, so like if like the gentleman before, I've experienced that too. Friday night at 5 o'clock, all of a sudden they dump a bunch of stuff in. So if we don't receive it, we don't want to receive it on Friday, then we shouldn't touch it till Monday, and then we receive it on Monday because that's the current day.
Correct.
All right. So Friday at 6 o'clock, I should not be entering received Monday.
You will not be able to, no.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then I had another question on the classification. After they submit it, we can't change it. Does a contractor have the capability to change those classifications before they submit them from their side?
Yes, they can change the classification as long as it has not been submitted initially.
Okay, so our spec is awarded with the classifications identified. I don't, a submittal register is in control of the contractor. I wasn't sure that intent extended to changing whether or not the government wanted approval, so that the contractor could actually change the classification.
So prior to submission, regardless, government and contractor both can change the classification in the submittal register for a specific submittal item. Once it's been, once the contractor starts it, they can set the classification and get it sent. If it is, at that point, it's set in stone.
So if they did that and it was a GA submittal, like shop drawings are typically GA, then I guess we address that with comments.
Yeah, you could do that.
I think that's what I had for right now. Other than that, that's a lot of work you guys did this time around. I like the updates on the schedule. That'll be useful to me because I don't have Primavera at the COR level. I don't have Primavera to be able to upload the contractor submittals to and double check. So I appreciate it very much.
Of course. We do try to make it better all the time. I do see that someone else has their hand up.
Yes, so were you saying that you can now upload the transmittals from the Submittal Register tab? Like you can go into the Submittal Register tab and actually get the full transmittal, or did I misunderstand?
That is correct. So if you go into the submittal register, single click on the item number in the top section. And then down at the bottom section where it talks about the transmittal history, if you double click on any entry down there, it will automatically take you to wherever it is in the transmission process. Now, if it hasn't been submitted yet, you obviously are not going to be able to open anything up. But if it's been submitted, when you double click on it, as you can see here, it'll show whatever stage it happens to be in. Of course, as we said, if the contractor is currently working on it in draft mode and you guys try to look at it, it's going to tell you that the contractor is working on it. So you won't be able to look at it at that point. But for any other ones, you'll be able to double click on it. But remember, it's the bottom section of the submittal register, not the top section.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Right. I do see another person's hand up. Go for it.
Yeah, were you guys saying that on 4025s, if they electronically sign them, that we will no longer be able to manually sign them?
That is correct.
Okay, is that going to apply to other things like RFIs or anything like that in the future?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
Let me
Just
double
trying to
check.
see where things are going and see if it's pushing electronic or what. So
Yeah, no, with the document packages, with the RFIs, it's not going to force that.
okay,
It's only
thank you.
with the transmittals. You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Does anybody else have any other questions? You're very welcome. We'll go ahead and stay on for a few more minutes for any of those that would like to ask any more questions. Otherwise, everybody else, thank you so much for joining. Again, if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always contact the help desk at 442-333-1011. And of course, if we don't answer the phone, please leave a voicemail with your name and a good callback number so that way we can call you back. We do generally call you back within the same day. Sometimes it is the next day. Just keep that in mind. But we will call you back, I promise.
All right, if there are no more questions, we're going to go ahead and close out for the day. Again, thank you all for joining, and reach out to the help desk if you need us. Thank you.